point, and as usual, we'll pick a particular topic that we think we can analyze and help you make informed decision about what we are going to discuss on the topic. Now we have the future of remote work and its implication on businesses, and we want to talk about this because we know that the future of remote work is expected to be dominated by hybrid work models. This means that employees will have the flexibility to work both from home and from the office, and we know that companies are using this kind of model to do some work, and some are saying it will take away a lot of human resources, personnel, and it will make work difficult at the long run. So that is what we want to look at for the first 30 minutes of the program. And our guest to do justice to this program is Christianah Adebiyi. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. I'm delighted to be here.
And Christianah is a content strategist, and we would like her to tell us what a remote job really means before we delve into the nitty-gritty, the trends, and how useful it could be to workforce. What is a remote work?
In the simplest terms possible, remote jobs are those kind of jobs where the employer and employee relate online. So it's like bringing a physical office or a physical space to a digital platform. There are many tools like that online that people use in the running of their daily businesses. Okay, let's start
from the survey. We know that remote work is not something new in developed country, but in Africa setting, we are beginning to embrace it. From the survey, you think we are doing our best to embrace this?
Well, I would say that remote jobs has always been a thing in Nigeria, and I can confidently say this because I have been a beneficiary myself. But it did not gain as much prominence as it is gaining right now until the 2020 pandemic, when the world had to shut down, and we were forced to take all our activities online. There were so many funny things happening at the point. Businesses were moving online, religious activities were moving online, even marriages were being conducted online. So yeah, businesses started moving online, and since 2020 it has been gaining more and more prominence.
But before then it wasn't too known.
Before then it wasn't too known. In fact, it's funny enough that at times you have to prove to a potential employer that you can deliver your services without them seeing you. Especially in Nigeria, they'll be like, are you sure you can do the work? The only job that I think was really trending in terms of virtual system was virtual assistance and virtual project management. But after 2020, lots of jobs started moving online. So since then we've really been doing well as a nation, I must say, but there's always room for improvement. There's a lot more to be done. Okay,
you're on the field using this tool for your business. Do you think employers, employees are embracing this enough? Or is there room for improvement?
There is a lot of room. Let me emphasize on a lot of room for improvement. I use this personally, and although it helps both the business owners and the employees, yet it could be a disadvantage in a system where you find it hard to enforce structures without some infrastructural factors not coming in the way of you being able to do that as well as you should. So yes, there are some implications of this virtual working thing on both businesses and their employees. So yes, we are doing well, but there's just a lot to be done. For an example of infrastructural factors, for example, is power supply. We are in a space where you give someone a job to do, or you have a job to do to deliver at a certain time, and then there's the problem of power supply to power your laptop, your gadget. And even if you feel you could go for the alternative of powering your generator or maybe getting solar, how many people can afford solar? And you want to power your generator, there are funny times where to get fuel is a problem. To get fuel at a good price is a problem. That is a major infrastructural issue. Another is the fact that the cost of data connection it's hiking seriously. Even though telecommunication companies are doing their best to come up with different packages, but you would agree with me that the 1 gig of 2020 is not the same 1 gig. Somehow you get some data plans and it vanishes into thin air. So these infrastructural factors are really causing a lot of setback and making it a bit hard to really catch up with the first world countries.
So are we saying invariably that people are dropping remote work and going back to the office thing, the physical work? This infrastructure is really affecting it negatively. And if it is affecting it negatively, what should we do? Since other countries are embracing it. Even you can work from Nigeria and be employed in the USA. So if others are embracing it, can we now say Nigeria is dropping from the ranks because infrastructure is affecting, and there are a lot of things that will not make it to go as it should?
You know, something very wonderful about Nigerians is that we always find a way to adjust. We always find a way to adjust. And I feel one way we've tried to adjust to what our system is giving us is the hybrid model of working. Many companies sincerely want to adopt the virtual system of working, but because of not just even infrastructure, but the people they are working with, they prefer to just go like, okay, so number of days you can work from home, other days you come to work. We create that work culture here. But like you said, it's not just a Nigerian thing, it's a thing of people in Nigeria. For example, talking as a creatives in Nigeria trying to meet up to the demands of their clients outside the country. So of course we can't just say that we would go hybrid. You can't employ hybrid for someone in Nigeria working in an American company, for example. So what I would just say is that aside the fact that we can only ask the governments to do so much in terms of, you know, trying to do their best to make the power supply better and what have you, but I feel as individuals we can also do our bits. I mean, there are certain tools out there that make work more easier. There are certain companies out there that provide data at very, very nice prices, independent of the telecommunication giant. I feel it is up to employees to be able to update themselves, to be able to retrain themselves, to be able to relearn, to get these certain tools that are going to be helpful to them. I can't say that because power supply is a thing in my area, then I'll just it won't work. The government won't teach me, you know. So I have to look out what data plans can I go for, what companies are selling data, maybe independent of telecommunication giants. Is there a tool out there that could even make me you know, deliver my duties faster and more efficiently, such that with whatever I have, I make do with it and still deliver the best possible.
Okay, now let's talk about the sustainability now. A lot of people fear that if we embrace this teleworking too much, it will cut off some people from working, because there will be no need to employ like a three-man team for a unit, a department, while a person can do that in their home. So what is the future of teleworking, and can it be sustained?
Yes, on the very long run, teleworking is really sustainable in Nigeria. It is very, very sustainable. Taking it back to what I just said about employees actually trying to retrain themselves. Now, there has always been complaints or concerns of, you know, the new generation system of working to push some people out of the market. But I do make some examples. Let's take Canva as an example. Canva came out and people said they cannot do their designs themselves. But a graphics designer who knows what he or she is doing can't be pushed out of the market by Canva. Same as when ChatGPT came out and people said ChatGPT would replace writers. A writer that knows what he or she is doing can't be replaced by ChatGPT. There is just so much that you can bring in as a human to the system. So if we are saying that teleworking will push people out of businesses, the truth is it's not pushing people out, it's only creating new kinds of innovative kind of roles that we only need to upskill ourselves onto. For example, a company who decides to stop working physically, of course they will lay off staff, because all you people know how to do is how to operate physically. Then they'll go after the people or tools that can give them what they want online. And these tools are created by people. These tools are managed by people. So we can't say that these things are necessarily pushing people out of jobs, but it's only creating new kinds of jobs that people are not very ready to upskill themselves to, and change is inevitable. We only need to keep upskilling.
Okay, one of the advantages that some people pointed out from using working remotely is that if you go outside the city, most times the network might not be good and the connectivity might be bad. So we want to talk about urban economies now.
Okay.
What is the impact of this teleworking on urban economies? Does it have a harmful effect? Does it have a useful effect on the economy? How can we use this thing to upscale the economy of the urban and dovetail it to the rural areas too?
Okay, so there's no way any innovation or change would come into play and it would not have its positive and negative effects. Of course, a positive side of it is that the influx of people into certain cities, you know, on an average Nigerian, when they think about a city of opportunities, there are certain cities that come to mind. When they think, okay, I want to go into this field, I want to start doing this, I want to start doing that, where are the jobs? There are certain cities that just come to mind. Let me go to so-so place, let me go to so-so place. And these places end up being overcrowded. It ends up being overpopulated. Then we have housing crisis, then we have power crisis, then we have so many people trying to manage few resources, even resources as almost basic as transportation. When you have 1 million people trying to board the transportation system that was created for say 300, 400,000 people, then there would be a crisis. So with a virtual system of working, people don't need to move to certain areas. The location barrier is shattered, it's broken. And even for companies, it's beneficial for them. Companies in these urban areas, they can get to access some talents that are not in their immediate location without worrying about the costs of bringing the person in. Let's say a Nigerian company, for example, wants to access the talents or the skills of somebody who is outside the country. The usual thing would be, you have to bring me, you have to fly me, what is the cost, and we go on and on about cost. But they don't even need to worry about that anymore. So it's even beneficial for them, right? But and another advantage is that the rural urban areas can gradually grow into becoming peri-urban areas, and the peri-urban areas can gradually grow into becoming urban areas. So the thing about being an urban area or being a mega city can be further decentralized, and in such a way we are calling for more growth in more areas, so we don't have everybody trying to fit into a particular area. So a disadvantage, actually, like you said, is that it will definitely push some people out of jobs. However, it's a disadvantage that can be harnessed when employees can try to be ahead of their game in terms of what they do. Another thing is that there will be lesser demand on certain resources. For example, real estate, office spaces. People will keep building office spaces, high-rise buildings and all that. There will be lesser demand on those kind of properties.
And it could affect the economy.
It could affect the economy, it could affect their businesses. But again, there's always a way of getting ahead of the trends.
So the bottom line is that you should find a way in any okay, I get that. Now let's talk about the effect it will have on employees now. You know that this thing is a three-way thing: the connectivity, the tool, and the person that will manage it, and the person that employs someone to manage it. So let's talk about the employees now who will be using the tool day in, day out. What impact does teleworking, or let me say hybrid working, what impact will it have on them, and how can they best manage themselves when they get to the stage of using this thing? What are the things they must do? What are the strategies to use in upgrading themselves so that they can fit in?
This is a very interesting line of conversation, because usually people complain that going to work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, does not give them ample time for personal activities, for family and all. But again, it's interesting that virtual system of working has created a lot of imbalance in terms of work life for many people. There are those who have worked in 9 to 5 systems and structures, and they are able to manage themselves. They know this is when I wake up, this is when I'm working, this is when I'll be on social media, this is when I'll be doing stuff. But then there are the majority, if I may add, that are finding it very hard to structure a work-life balance well enough. Let me give an example. Someone who has a task that they are supposed to deliver in a particular day, and they are like, I'll do it overnight. I'll do it the next day. And then when they are close to deadline, they start rushing. Sometimes we have situations where a company, we see all these jokes online, a company calls for a meeting by 9 o'clock, and by 8:55, employees are still on their bed. And then by 8:58, they are just up and down, just trying to gather themselves because they know that they can be muted or they can put up the video. So I feel that virtual system of working, if not handled well, can breed a level of indiscipline in the lives of employers. They don't know, maybe they know, but they just refuse to do what they should do when it should be done. So you wake up in the morning and the first thing, you open your laptop, you do whatever you want to do on your system, or you wake up in the morning and then the first thing you think of is you want to go somewhere.
That means it could create laziness, it could create lazy set of people.
Yeah, it could create lazy set of people. And the funny thing is, the definition of laziness is relative. It could be from the point of, do I have the capacity to get this done, as at when I should get it done. So we have that. Some people have the capacity, but they just choose not to, and that is a level of laziness. And
overconfidence.
Yes, exactly. I think I'll go for the term overconfidence more than lazy, because if this person was lazy, they most likely wouldn't have gotten the job in the first place. So they are overconfident and they get burnt out. At times it leads to depression. Although it would be best for a mental health expert to really delve into this line. But yes, working virtually, if not managed properly, because they are isolated. I could be working with 50 other people around all over the world and I don't even recognize them. We don't have a common culture. We don't relate. So for something like that, it is in the best interest of the employee to ensure that, I do suggest actually that anyone who wants to start working virtually should actually find a 9-to-5 job and work there for, say, 6 months to a year. So as to be able to imbibe the culture. And if possible, hybrid systems. Personally, I prefer hybrid systems because I feel that they help you create a balance between the virtual world and the physical world. There's no way you have a hybrid system and you will not find your balance, even if you are tempted not to.
It will ginger you when you want to come down. you remember the office hours and the way you do things, and then all right, now let's talk about the technology associated with all of these things. Without technology, the remote work cannot fly anywhere. So let's talk about technology. In Nigeria, in Africa, are we using the best technology that could help advance this remote teleworking that we want to promote? We know that you people, the content creators, content strategies, like it when they want to work using the technology. So if you want to use technology, what are the best things to do, and what technology is best when we want to talk about teleworking?
Okay, in terms of teleworking, technology is really vast. We have the tech tools for communication, we have the tech tools for project management, we have the tech tools that are even, relative to individual skill sets. As a country, I believe that we've done really well. We've done really well where we are. We have many Nigerian artists. Let me dive into media a bit. We have many Nigerian artists who mentioned producing their albums during the COVID era, and they recorded full albums with featuring artists all over the world. They did not meet physically and they still produced something really qualitative. So I think as a country we are really there. However, talking for my own line of work, there are certain tools we want to access at times, and what you see is it is not available in your location. This is not available in your region, and it would have been something that would really help that line of work. So the person is forced to be on the same track with people in other countries who have those tools. So you're already automatically one step behind when trying to deliver. And these companies, if they see you can't deliver, they'll go for another person. It's not their fault that you're in your location or you're in your region. So talking about tools itself now, it really depends on the relative skills. Just to emphasize what I said earlier, it is the duty of everyone who is a potential employee or potentially going into a certain field to know what tools are relevant to their field, to learn how to operate it. Let me use project management as an example. And I'm using this so much because starting out working remotely, that was really the portfolio I started building. I remember those times. In terms of communication, the first virtual interview, I had to do, you know, they were asking me that, do you know how to handle Trello? And I had never had Trello in my life. And I was just like, sure, with a little bit of help, I could get my feet. You know, I didn't want to give a yes or no answer. Like with a little bit of help, I could get my feet. And by the time I started using the Trello, it was just like a social managing network, social media network rather, for communication. I can categorize my task. I could know what to do. I mean, project managers would understand what I'm saying. So after then, I am like, okay, I can't just be the Trello person, and I can't just be that project manager who is just taking YouTube videos and all. I need to get certified, and I went out for certification course, and I got to learn that there were so many. There was Slack, there was Asana, there was Trello. So if I did not take it as a point of duty to upskill myself, to learn, to know what it takes to really be the best in that certain field, I would be behind. I mean, some people would be like Trello, it would sound something and they're like, no, they can't handle it. And little things like that could make them lose their job. So if you know that this is what you want to go into, this is what you are doing, how about investing in learning? How about investing in educating yourself? And that is from the line of employees now. From the line of employers, I feel that they need to do better in investing in cybersecurity. They need to invest better in actually training their staff, because some people can deliver if you give them the right tools, if they know the right tools. So instead of going out and looking for what is not lost, if you are confident in the people that you have within what they've delivered, how about upskilling them? That could really help.
Okay. I was going to the cybersecurity thing.
Okay.
How would a person who is saddled with the responsibility of delivering a task go after cybersecurity also? Would they be able to handle both? Because if you are online, there's all those tendencies that you fall into wrong hands one day. And how can someone who is teleworking not fall into a wrong hand? What are the security measures that should be put in place when you are using these things?
I'll start by using a traditional working system as an example. It is not possible for an organization to have a building where they have important documents, important files, important whatever, to not have a security officer in place, and not just a security officer. In fact, a combination of both humans and machines. We have CCTV surveillances and what have you. They have a sign-in, sign-out system to know who came in, who came out. They will surely put security measures in place. Then down to individual employees, when they know that they are working somewhere, they would want to, have a security measure for whatever they are supposed to be in charge of. So bringing this to the virtual world, it is the duty of employers to ensure that they maybe employ the services of cybersecurity experts. Because if you feel that cybersecurity is expensive, then try to be cyber hacked and see which is more expensive. And also, like I was saying about training employees earlier, when occasionally companies bring up activities, virtual activities for their workers, this is what you should do whenever you see this. This is how to know. In an average traditional system, employees know that this person coming in, let's suspect this person. How do they know that? Company culture. So they can bring this company culture online where employees know that, okay, they are supposed to watch out for this activity and what have you.
Okay, now let's talk about the implication now on the economy. All of these things you are saying is about money, making income, ensuring that you are grounded in the economy. So let's talk about the impact all this type of work, the model of work will have on the economy. The economy generally, how can we use it to grow our economy?
Okay, so this situation is a situation of plus and minus.
Okay.
Some places are falling, but some places are rising. Remote work system would really encourage more small business owners to come up, because the feeling that I do not need a traditional system of environment to actually run a whole company would even encourage me further to, come forth, bring up what I want to do. So it would encourage more businesses, and with more businesses, there's more cash flow, more tax revenue for the government all along. For big companies, of course, they are pushing some people out, which might increase unemployment rate. But again, if we could tackle the unemployment by engaging them with new age skills, the issue with skill acquisition many times is where we give people skills that are already outdated, even before they started learning. So if people can be upskilled with skills that are, in trend, AI-related skills, tech-related skills especially. And it's not just about coding tech. There's the code part, there's the non-coding part of technology. If people are upskilled well enough, this issue of there are no jobs will be a thing of the past, because if you are not even working somewhere, you have your own business. And business might be tough to run, but with the appropriate tech tools, a lot of things. Before, if you want to start a company, there are so many things that you need to spend on. But if you have the right tools and you train yourself, you try to learn with many resources online on how to operate these tools, you would be better off.
Okay, can all professions, all sectors of the economy, can they use this teleworking model of working?
Every sector of the economy, I believe, can employ a virtual mode of working, but I just believe that for some people, the advantages are not as much as employing a traditional method. However, there is no system of the economy, there is nothing in the world right now that doesn't have a tech side to it. So bringing in a virtual system or maybe a hybrid system can help you to balance out the advantages on both sides. Yes.
All right, now as we leave on the program, this segment, let us tell us your advice, give us your advice on how best business owners, service providers, and those who think telecommunication, teleworking would have their jobs. Tell some word of encouragement so that they will know that this is the 21st century. Telecommunication is the in thing now.
Okay, for anyone listening and you feel that a tech tool has come to take your job away, trust me, I was almost there. I didn't get there. I was just almost there when ChatGPT came out, and I'm like, okay, as a writer, I write for people, and I'm like, one tool can come and just, but later, with a little prompt, it has taken over everywhere. But later I saw that this is not actually supposed to come and boss me. I'm the one supposed to boss this tool. And right now, I use ChatGPT to make my work faster, to make my work more efficient. But I can't give ChatGPT my work. There's a way you would read certain things online, and you just know that, this was this was a robot. A robot wrote this, because that human feeling is not there. So if you feel like a tool is coming here to take your job, it is not coming to take your job. It is coming to help you do your job better, to deliver your job better, if you can do your best to harness that tool to your own advantage. All
right, thank you so much, Christianah Adebiyi, for coming on the program.
I'm very happy to.
And we hope with people like you, the awareness will go on that teleworking or hybrid. Let's choose hybrid now, because some people are still using the old model. Hybrid working can be used in our economy.
Very
efficiently. Thank you so much for coming. All right, that will be an appropriate time for us to go for a short break, and when we come back from the break, it will be time for us to have a sectorial review segment, and that is the segment where we talk about skill and vocational skill, talking about how to use them for the economy. We'll see you after the break.